going further north this time to see the origin of desertification. We've arrived in Inner Mongolia. Desertification is an eco-disaster affecting the whole world. Climate change together with overcultivation of land by men around the world are turning many areas into deserts. They are expanding and spreading, threatening human lives. In Inner Mongolia, there's a desert that people call the Sea of Death.
Hello.
Sister Hua, hello.
Hello.
About 100,000 herders have been living in the Sea of Death. It can be described as hell on earth. Sister Hua is a local farmer. Are you Mongolian, Sister Hua?
Yes, I'm Mongolian.
Mongolian.
Coming first.
Sure, thank you. In the backyard. Oh, you keep cows here.
Yes, we're in cattle breeding and farming.
You grow crops too.
We grow crops and rear cows.
Hua is Mongolian. The villagers call her Sis Hua. For generations, her family has lived in the Kubuqi Desert, also known as the Sea of Death. When you were small, I heard the environment was really bad at the Kubuqi Desert.
Yes, back then in my hometown, heavy wind would blow 365 days in a year. If there was a sandstorm at night when we went to bed, things would be fine. But the next morning when we got up, we might find we couldn't open the door.
Why not?
It would be buried in the desert.
The sand would be blocking the front door.
Right.
What would you do then? That's unbelievable.
We would climb out through the window, dig away the sand to open the door again.
So the sandstorm could get to your front door blocked. Today, Sis Hua is taking us deep into the Kubuqi Desert to see the place where she grew up. Sis Hua, so we're heading towards the Sea of Death, right?
Yes. Sit tight.
But when you were small, you didn't have a car. Or you had to walk?
The camel.
Camel.
The camel or the horse, or we'd just talk.
You'd have to cross all these sand dunes.
Yes, when the weather was bad, it would be a few days' walk.
Okay, we've arrived. Thank you. We're finally here at the Sea of Death. There's the sandstorm again. There's a sandstorm like this every day.
Yes.
The storm.
The one today is almost nothing. There's no wind.
No wind?
When the wind was strongest, we had to keep our eyes closed and crawl on our hands and feet.
So this is in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
I get it. I know why they call it the Sea of Death. It stretches as far as you can see it. All those sand dunes, big and small, going on forever. I'm here at Kubuqi Desert, located in northwest China, Inner Mongolian prefecture. China has been battling large scale of desertification since at least the 1950s. Much of the land are unprotected against wind erosion.
Back then, we used to live in the desert. Only those of us who have lived there know the danger the desert can bring. First, we were herders. We raised sheep. Since no grass would grow, the sheep would have nothing to eat.
Right.
We'd come stay a couple of days. When there was no more grass, we'd move to another place, stay again for a couple of days. The grass would run out and we'd move again. 4 seasons a year, as far as I can remember, we would move every day. The parents said, study hard, find a way to leave this place no matter what. This place cannot be saved.
The Sea of Death was once covered with lush grass. There were forests and various kinds of animals and plants. It was a beautiful place. Later on, because of prolonged climate change, together with man's relentless cultivation, grass burning and grazing, desertification became even more serious. What was once an oasis of abundance turned into the Sea of Death, and is spreading like cancer, affecting the safety of nearby areas. The Kubuqi Desert is the desert closest to the capital of Beijing. In the past, whenever strong winds blew in winter, even Beijing suffered from sandstorms. In the 1990s, the government of the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region decided to embark on a massive land restoration project. The first step was to plant trees in the desert because trees could help fix the sand dunes and stop the desert from spreading. But getting any living thing to grow in the Sea of Death is no easy task.
When the government asked us to work as volunteers to plant trees here, I was thinking, you've got to be kidding. What are you doing that for? How could you grow any trees in the desert? When we were kids, our parents took us out there to try many times, but we failed.
Back then, the tree planting failed because the herders' manpower was dispersed. They did not have the experience or know-how. So the local government worked out a way. They brought in companies who came with funding and technology. A contract system was set up whereby you would get a bonus for each tree successfully planted. So almost everyone living close to the desert joined the project to plant trees, including Xishua's team.
When it first began, there were problems everywhere. We could only carry the saplings from the road on our backs and walk into the desert.
What? You had to carry those?
Yes, all on our backs. The weather's dry, there's no rain. Without water, how could they grow?
It's dry too.
I remember one time, I really felt I couldn't take it. I was crying in the desert on my own. I was squatting there, crying all myself in the pit, crying my heart out. I did that a few times, but after crying, I would stand up again and keep on walking. In the end, I managed. I just followed them and went tree planting every day. That year, the weather was all right. It rained heavily twice. The tree saplings were growing so well.
That's great. Heaven came to help, so you gained confidence.
Yes, once we started that year, we couldn't stop.
Xishua, these trees, these small trees, how long have they been growing?
Since 2013.
2013, not even 10 years.
Right.
Just some 7 to 8 years. 7 to 8 years and still this small. How many people took part in the planting?
Everyone in the Hangjingbana district came. Everyone, almost everyone joined in to grow these fruit trees.
Everyone.
到了。哎，你好。
你好。
我哋花姐植樹嘅一班工友。辛苦了。这里植树多少年了？20年。20年了，哇，厉害！
The technique before weren't that good, so trees wouldn't grow after planting.
That's right. Now it's quite different. We're not using shovels for digging. We use machines.
These are the tree saplings? Then you bury them.
Yes, just bury them.
In the past 30 years, Xishua and her fellow workers have planted tens of thousands of trees in the desert. There are lots of other local who have formed the tree planting teams too. They gradually figured out a way to plant a tree in less than 1 minute. Make a hole in the ground using a twist drill. Then insert a tree sapling and cover it with soil. The rate of survival is up to 90%. What plant is this?
Salix.
Salix.
Yes, it can go deep enough, it's fast, with a high survival rate as well. Year after year, more and more plants got planted. We can see more grain on both sides of the road. I think we can really plant trees in the desert. Sometimes I can't believe my own eyes. At first, we hated the desert. In the end, we had to face the desert and make friends with it. And after all, the desert is a friend that we can't leave behind.
Also with his family living in the Kubuqi Desert for generations is Jia Wenyi. He is now chief of a sand control station here. He says starting from the 1950s, the government had tried various methods to control the desert, but it didn't work. In the 1990s, they finally worked out an overall strategy. Apart from planting trees, there is another critical measure. Mr. Jia, you actually figured out building a highway like this in the middle of the desert crossing highway.
Block in the south, lock in the north.
Lock in the north.
Right, cut in the middle.
Cut in the middle.
Yes.
In the project to block in the south, lock in the north, and cut in the middle, almost all of the residents in the desert took part. It took them a few years to build the desert crossing highway in the middle of the desert. It runs over 100 kilometers, dividing the desert in two. Along the highway, trees were planted to seal it. To build a highway in the heart of a desert is something no one has done before, and difficulties abound. The road they painstakingly built could get covered up in a moment by sand. These are what you and your brothers stick in one by one?
Yes, one by one. We dig in with shovels and stick them in one by one.
Xishuangbanna and her team, in response to the government's call, would come to the side of the desert crossing highway to stick in corn stalks to form a barrier.
The wind would blow so hard and the road would be covered in sand. This is to prevent that.
So Xishuangbanna and her teammates would stick these stalks in like tree branches to prevent the sand dunes from moving. Because while building the highway, the road they built would be covered up overnight in a sandstorm. If it did, it meant trouble. In the past 30 years, Xishuangbanna and numerous tree planters turned over 6,000 square kilometers of land, that's almost 1/3 of the desert, green. There's finally life in the Sea of Death.
Our generation have suffered so much from the harm done by the desert. I don't think we should let it do this to our future generations or let it affect their future. So we must fix it. We must turn this desert green ourselves. After making this place green, I feel like we put on a green suit, right?
Yes, the desert has become an oasis. What a miracle.
When we walk through the desert and see so much green around, we feel good inside. As we stand on the sand dunes, we want to sing and dance. Our hearts are full of joy.
Desertification is a subject related to survival of humans. Those who live by the Sea of Death in Inner Mongolia continue trying to find ways to survive. Jia Wenyi is chief of a sand control station in the Kubuqi Desert.
This desert crossing highway plays a critical role in controlling the sand in the Kubuqi Desert. In fact, we have had fewer sandstorms since. Now as we run along this road, see that sand dune?
Yes.
The sand dune is actually spreading further. How can we not do something about it?
Is it them over there?
Yes, that's them.
Hello, Xishuangbanna. Mongolians?
Yes.
Mongolian herders.
Yes.
So you've lived here from generation to generation.
Yes.
You have so many sheep.
Over 300.
Over 300. They have over 300 sheep here. One major cause of desertification is overcultivation and overgrazing, causing erosion of grassland vegetation. Jia Wenyi took the lead to talk to the herdsmen, asking them to match the government's policy of prohibition of grazing and cultivation.
At that time, the herdsmen just wanted to get rich. They didn't have much awareness about ecological conservation. By increasing the amount of livestock, they were damaging the balance of the ecosystem of the grassland. Then in 2000, when the grazing ban was issued for the Xishuangbanna district, the herdsmen just didn't understand. They said, "You were banning us from grazing. How are we going to live? Are you going to pay for the grass and water?"
Jia Wenyi went with the government officers to knock on doors one by one, trying to convince the herdsmen. They even got attacked by some of them.
The herdsmen couldn't accept it. They yelled at me and beat me up. They even broke my front tooth.
They broke your front tooth too? They hit you like that?
With a fist.
After quite a bit of lobbying, the herdsmen gradually began to understand that the government was issuing the ban to regain the full richness of the grassland. Meanwhile, the government tried every means to help the herdsmen in their transition from grazing to rearing livestock in pens. Are you worried about making less profit?
That's one thing, but when the government won't allow it, they're still thinking in our interest. They're doing us, the herders, some good. Since I started rearing my sheep in pens, they can eat all the grass they want.
Big brother, you've been living here since you're small. The environment was damaged before. Has it changed for the better?
Since the ban in terms of the environment, there have been enormous changes. We never had so many trees before. It's worth it.
It was just sand before, now there's a road.
Right.
And there are trees. It's all green now.
Yes, all green.
As measures like road construction, tree planting, and the grazing ban became effective, the problems of desertification and sandstorms came under control. Meanwhile, companies were brought in to guide the farmer herders in growing crops that have economic and medicinal value, as well as fix the sand. Making use of the extraordinarily strong sunlight in the desert, they're also producing solar power. Rows of solar panels packed closely together block the sandstorms, cutting down water loss from evaporation. Under the solar panels, they can even grow more persamophytes, so the farmer herders can make bigger incomes and the community can be lifted out of poverty and become prosperous. Li Fang.
Welcome.
Hello, you're Mongolian?
Right.
In second generation sand control.
Yes, I'm the second generation. My father started the sand control work.
Awesome. At post 90, Li Fang and her family suffered life in the desert for generations, so her family has been planting trees for years. The ecology has improved in recent years, so Li Fang's father contracted an area of tens of thousands of moats for setting up a desert ecology park. Li Fang also took a course on hotel and tourism management in a university in Hong Kong, with plans to help her father look after this part of the desert after its rebirth.
These trees we see forming forests, the sand break. My father's generation started the conservation work in 2006, and we have carried on with it till now.
You planted all these trees?
Yes, what we see here were all planted by us. It's so amazing. 20 to 30 years ago, this was just a big desert.
Right.
Now there are all these green forests around. It's so nice. Where we are standing is the east of the Kubuqi Desert. This tree in front of us is 1,200 years old. It's a wild papaya for medicinal use.
120 years?
Yes.
You had this tree standing in the desert 120 years ago?
It's actually witnessed the various changes in this oasis at the Kubuqi Desert. Owing to some complex reasons in the desert, together with human activities in the recent decades, like cultivation, grazing,
the oasis degenerated into the sea of death.
we find it such a pity. It's because of this that our forefathers started to see the importance of reforestation long ago. We're beginning to see some positive effects of reforestation work on desertification control.
A desert, the Sea of Death. It was once covered with lush grass. It would take the effort of 3 generations or more to restore it. Why wait until you lose it to realize you should have cherished it? The resources we have on Earth, I hope we can learn to protect them before they totally disappear. Camels! Camels!
Their hair is shedding. Camels naturally shed their hairs in spring because they have to get prepared for summer. So you can see they're quite bald and ugly right now.
After 30 years of hard work, 1/3 of the Kubuqi Desert has been fully made green, cutting down over 90% of sandstorms every year. The green area continually releases oxygen into the air, helping us to tackle the problems of climate change. At the 2015 Climate Change Conference in Paris, Kubuqi's mode of desertification control was cited by the United Nations Environment Programme as a reference case. The Kubuqi model has also been taken as a reference by countries in the Middle East and Central Asia who have been troubled by desertification. Generations of people have worked on desertification control, environmental protection and conservation. Do you see any difference in the way they work in the past generations and ours?
The concepts are quite different. Like for this small place of ours, the older generation was doing it to feed themselves. It's for better harvests. But in our generation, we have come to realize that the environment is not about one place or one country. It's about the whole planet. If the environment goes backward, it will affect our nature, our survival. So eco-conservation is a truly pressing issue. In the future, we hope that from our generation to the next, and many more to come, we will be considerate of the bigger picture. The ecosystem is indeed about the shared future of mankind.
Next, we are off to Xinjiang to climb the mountains of heaven. Last year we climbed the ladders of heaven, and this year, the mountain of heaven. The world's largest population of snow leopards is here, in Xinjiang, China. But because of illegal hunting and damage to the habitat, the number of snow leopards has plummeted. What is the importance of the snow leopard's survival to the eco chain? And we'll visit in a Zhejiang village where there once was a huge ecological change.
At that time, we thought at Yuchun, we're rich. Here, we had limestone mines, brick plants, and firework factories. The sky was all covered with dust.
And how did this village become the origin of the two mountains theory, which says lucid waters and lush mountains are invaluable assets?
死亡之海，我把它轉啦，把它轉咗俾我真係，講笑死亡之海真係。滿口都是沙呀！死亡之海，噠噠噠。